Excerpt from the 728th Official Report of Talks on November 30, 2019, translated with DeepL.com. The following is an unauthorized, unofficial translation.
What I want to say now is that what I have learned from Sfath, namely that even scientists somehow dig behind the moon and don't concern themselves with what would actually be fundamentally important. Although they have scientific fields like entomology, plant biology, domestic animals, wild animals, birds, poultry etc., they lack the knowledge that everything has to be specified according to its genus and species, and that animals are only mammals that have nothing to do with birds, animals or insects, like bees etc. So this for once, while on the other hand it has not yet been understood and not even researched that all forms of life are sentient and therefore also have psychic impulses, just like humans as self-conscious individuals, it is admittedly assumed today that higher animals, that is, mammals, have psychic impulses. But this is precisely the entire wisdom of the natural and biological sciences, however, that all living beings as a whole have a psychic form, such as an instinct psyche, sensation psyche or energy psyche, which is also peculiar to lower beings such as beetles and insects, creatures of all kinds, wherein, lizards, snakes, fish and butterflies and moths etc., which, moreover, are neither animals nor creatures, but their own genera and species, and thus are to be called such. Scientists have no idea whatsoever. They also do not know that even the lowest living beings communicate intensively with each other. In the same way, this scientific ignorance also applies to the entire biodiversity, or rather to the manifold width and breadth of the entire plant world, because in this respect, too, the corresponding scientists have no idea that every single plant, from the tiniest moss thread to the giant tree, on the one hand has a psychic form, an energy psyche, etc., as Sfath has described and explained it. On the other hand, plants and living beings of all genera and species communicate with each other very intensively, in an impulsive oscillation form in certain rhythms, from which I was able to understand certain communicative values by analogy. I could also hear that they all also have a sense of pain, namely every single plant and every independent living being from the smallest to the largest genus and species. I was able to observe and experience this for myself in many a sight-bound plant, in small and large self-moving life forms of various genera and species, even insects and even smaller creatures, when Sfath let me experimentally see pain vibrations of plants and the smallest creatures on devices and monitors, and through an apparatus connected to my head, perceive them nervously and sensitively as well as acoustically, and effectively feel and listen to them. With this you will be right, for your words will remain without sound.